Welcome to On the Edge. Today's guest is an actor, craftsman, and substitute teacher, Jim Garrity. You may
Hello.
have seen, hi Jim. You may have seen Jim in The Really Loud House, Night Court, and American Horror Story. Welcome to the show, Jim. How are you?
Hey, thank you for having me.
Good. I'm so glad you were able to make it. This is going to be fun.
Good.
Okay. So I know that you just recently worked on something. Is there anything that you can share? What was it called? What was your character? Is there anything that you can share about the project?
1923.
Oh, yes.
Yes, got to go to Austin, Texas,
Wow.
and which my home state, and got some great barbecue. Oh yeah, there was a good show there too being filmed. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Um,
food, but let's talk about the show.
let's talk about the show. 1923. So had a nice scene with Timothy Dalton, and just a quick in and out, but it was I'm not sure when it's going to air. I don't think they've started airing the second season just yet. So, but that's coming up. And then in November, I believe a show called St. Denis Medical, which
Mhm.
is a comedy.
That is awesome. Now, explain to us, for people that don't know, 1923 is a spinoff of what show?
It is a prequel to Yellowstone.
Hmm.
So you had Yellowstone, which I don't know about everybody, but yeah, we watched every episode.
Yeah.
And so they went back to 18 something, and now they're in 1923.
Mhm.
And Helen Mirren and oh, what's his name?
That guy.
Harrison Ford. So they're and Timothy Dalton. They're in it, and along with some other great names. But I watched the whole first season, and I was like, okay, I got to figure out how to get on this. So,
Yes. And now your name has been added to the list.
yeah.
Yes. That is awesome. So, what inspired you to become an actor?
Um, it was the suggestion from a family member. It
Really?
was I was managing hotels and restaurants, and got burned out, and they said, you've been entertaining us for years for free, try to get paid for it. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So I was like, you know what, I'll entertain the idea a little bit, but I'm going back to get my master's and
Oh,
in computer information systems. And so I said, all right, well, I'll take a theater class, because I was never a, oh, I want to be an actor. I remember I used to live in Los Angeles, Westlake Village, when I was growing up, and I saw one scene of Mod Squad being filmed. Right, it was part of the karate studio where I was taking lessons, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And it just kind of put it in the back of my head. All right, I never thought I would come back and be doing this as a career. So they said, try it. I took a class, and it was theater. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. All right,
mhm.
I got to express myself, and then took another one. I was like, all right, well, that's pretty cool, and ended up getting cast in a play
Oh my goodness.
that was selected to perform at the Sektani Theater Festival over in Brno, Czech Republic.
Mhm.
And so I got to travel with the whole production to go and perform over there. They pick one university production from each country to
Mhm.
perform in this theater festival. And ours got selected. So we got to go and spent we performed the second night, and we were there for 2 weeks. And so it was a great introduction. Came back, and I was like, all right, I'm going to figure out how to do this. And that's kind of where it took off.
My goodness, what an introduction to acting. Nobody gets to travel like that on their first job, just so
I
you know.
know. And that was a student production. I'm going, wait, we're traveling? I got to pay my own way? Oh, no. The university's paying for it. Oh,
Wow.
okay.
I
So,
just got goosebumps. That's amazing. What a great story.
yeah.
Pretty cool. All right. So that was that your first acting job, that theater, or had you done maybe something a little smaller before that, or that was
Um, that was my first
oh my
theater
God.
production,
Okay.
and then I was like, okay, so let me try to figure out how to get paid for this.
Right.
So I came back and I ended up getting an agent, and my meeting with her, this was back in Dallas. She said, "Hey, I'd like to bring you on." It's like, "That's great." She goes, here's you have an audition at 4 o'clock. Can you
Mhm.
right after that day, right after my meeting with her? I was like, okay, and I went and I booked it. It was like it was a commercial for a 3-spot commercial for South Padre Island Mall. So it was like, wow, okay. So I drive down to South Padre Island for a few days. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I tell you, I've been blessed. I really have. I mean, yeah, there's ups and downs like everybody knows, but I've been very fortunate, and yeah. But
Yes.
yeah, that was my first commercial, and then some other things here and there, or TV and film. But
Hmm.
yeah, that was my first paying job.
Okay, so I have to ask, this is off topic. Because you mentioned Dallas,
Okay,
are you a Dallas Cowboys fan?
yes, ma'am.
No! I'm an
And this has come to an end. I see. Well,
Eagles fan.
no, goodbye. Where do I get off this thing? Oh my gosh.
Gosh. Okay, we can still be friends though. I will still talk to you.
Thank you. I'll still say hello.
Okay. Okay. Now, moving forward, now that we
Yes.
got that out of the way. Okay. So, you've done so many shows, so many of my favorites, Criminal Minds, American Horror Story. Do you have a favorite character that you like to play?
Wow. I put this in a nice way. I usually play an asshole.
I find that hard to
It's like, okay, maybe I have just that look, or I do it well. I'm not sure, but
believe.
that's the way it comes across to me. It's like, oh, that's what I audition for more than anything else, is the jerk boss, or the news reporter, or the coach, and that
Mhm.
sort of thing. But usually a hard guy by some sense of the word.
Okay. Well, I did see some of your reel, and I saw two characters that really stood out to me. One was the therapist. Do you remember that? Where the
I,
guy asked you, "Are you looking at my eyebrows?"
yes, yes, I do. That was so much fun.
It looked like it. It looked like it.
It was, and I'm not sure why I booked that one, because a friend of mine also went in, and we auditioned against each other.
Mhm.
Maybe it's because I could make that slurping sound without actually slurping. I'm not sure, but no, that was a great time. Everybody was so nice, but yeah, it was. I remember it was fun. It was
That
actually fun.
that looked like a lot of fun. Now, because of the way that you got into acting, do you think that classes are necessary for film and TV and commercials? What's your thought on the class thing?
Absolutely, I really do. And I say that because to me, it's like going to the gym.
Mhm.
Okay, we want to stay in shape. We want to keep our muscles toned. We want to keep kind of in that mindset of being able to create, or to keep our memory going so that we can memorize lines and so forth. So I really do feel like staying in a class is important. Now, what kind of class?
Mhm.
Uh, it really depends on what you're looking for. I say change it up. If you're in an on-camera class, well, maybe go to something else, but change it up. And they have these different methods, the Meisner and the whatever, and you take all these different methods, and eventually you're going to develop your own method and what works best for you.
Mhm.
And to keep those muscles toned, whether it's theatrical or commercial, it's the same thing. You still want to feel comfortable in front of the camera. You want to feel like you're still able to memorize the lines and give them believably and honestly, but maybe with your own little spin on it. So yeah, I really do think class is important.
Okay, I love that answer. I think class is also important. Okay, do you have a an actor that may have influenced you early on in your career? Do you have a mentor? Yeah, those are two questions.
Wow, two questions. So
Two questions in one.
someone that I tell you what, one that was kind of I got this one piece of advice, and it's not really a particular person,
Hmm.
but it's something that they passed on to me. And Mark Secree was this person, and he's a producer. And the one thing that really stuck with me that he mentioned, and I say, give this to people all the time, is in this profession, you ask for advice, don't ask for favors.
Oh,
It changes perspective. It's like,
right.
hey, could you introduce me to your agent? I'd love to get on board. It's like, hey, what is the best way to get in contact with your agent? People
Mhm.
are going to be more open to that. So
Right.
that piece of advice was awesome.
Mhm.
The other, the actor wasn't necessarily the actor, but it was the job where I got to be a stand in for Richard Gere.
Oh,
And
see that?
yeah, I did that. So I got to be a stand in. It was it. I remember when I first went in and they wanted to see me and whatnot, and Richard came walking in, and I got one of these. I was like, okay, I guess that was the audition. And I'm like, all right. But being on the set in that capacity, the director was from China,
Mhm.
and so his translator ended up doing a lot of the stand-in work, and then they just used me for lighting.
Okay.
And but I got to see every bit of production and how it worked, and how
Mhm.
everything worked together as a team. And there's no one person that's more important, one department more important. It is a team effort, and to me, that was the most kind of grounding job. And I say Richard Gere because that's what got me there. But
Right.
and I did get to talk with him a little bit. Super nice guy.
Super nice guy. That was my
Super
next
nice guy.
question. Did you do any extra work at all when you first started out, or you
I
just went
did.
to? And
I
how was that for you doing extra work?
It was great again, get to experience a lot. But once you start doing on camera principal,
Okay.
you can't go back, or I can't,
Mhm.
because it is a lot of just sitting around and doing
Right.
nothing. Although you do that as well, but it's I'm a busy guy. I like to keep
Mhm.
busy and active and doing stuff, and just sitting there just drove me mentally crazy more than anything else. But I've met some great people,
Mhm.
as far as background actors, and still you get to know Crafty very well. Everybody that works with that. So, but I love meeting people and getting to know them, and some people I'm still in contact with. So it's great.
Well, that's good. And just so people know, Crafty is an area where they put out snacks for background and actors. It's there all day long. And they have all kinds of things for you to pick at. They have fruit, they have nuts, they have pretzels, just all kinds of snacks in between breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's what Crafty is. We call it Crafty for short. And okay, the next question I have for you: how do you balance your home life and acting? Because acting can get, as you just came back from a trip, it can take you away from home for long spans of time, or you could be home not working for long spans of time. So how do you balance home life with being in this business of acting?
Um, it's something that you kind of grow into, and you kind of adapt. It's like, okay, I'm an actor. That's my job. That's my profession. I'm going to focus on that. And but you get to a point where you have to have the family life, and you got to balance it, right? So I focus on family life, wife, grandkid, kids, and take care of them. But when an audition comes in, it's like, okay, do I stop down right now and just focus on that? Or do I wait until I'm done with family time or whatever? And most of the time, it's because the day and age that we're in now, we're able to record remotely
Mm-hmm.
pretty much 24/7.
Right.
Uh, but to me, it's get back to your other question. It's I live my life, and then when acting comes up, I take care of the acting, and I get to go play. And it's like, okay, and I'll focus on that for however long I need to focus on it
Mm-hmm.
and go out and play. And then it's refocus on family or the job or whatever is at hand. So
Mm-hmm. Okay.
did that answer?
Yes, it did. Thank
Okay.
you. That did answer. Goodness. Okay, looking back on your career, I'm all over the place with these questions with you
That's all
because
right.
you're so easy to talk to. Looking back on your career, do you have one role or one TV show that really meant a lot to you?
Boy. The Really Loud House was just a lot of fun. And one reason why that brought me just kind of meant a lot to me. One is it was a couple years ago. Yeah. And it took me to Albuquerque, which is where they shoot. I
Okay.
happen to have family in Albuquerque, so I got to see them. But the production itself is such a family environment that they don't make you feel like you're an outsider. They made you feel like you are a cast member and you are part of this family for however long it might be. You're there.
Mhm.
And that one meant a lot to me because I got that kind of feeling. Plus, I got to see my family, my brother and aunt and uncle and nieces, and it was a lot of fun. So it's funny. This job takes you places,
Mhm.
and you get to make whatever you want out of your downtime.
Right.
And sometimes it's I shot in. Oh, that one was good too. Bad Water, which I had a lot of downtime, and it was right in the middle of COVID, so there wasn't a
Oh,
whole lot of stuff to do. And it was out in Colorado, so I got to go to venture out on my own and went to the Four Corners, and we're in New Mexico and
oh
gosh,
wow.
whatever, Arizona, whatever. So I got to do there. I got to go on other hikes with the crew on off days. So you get these other experiences, but then when it comes time to work, you get to know your fellow actor, and it's to me that's what I love. I love talking to people
Mhm.
and visiting with people and get to know more about them. They don't find much out about me, but I get to know more about them.
You're too funny. So that is beautiful. I love the bonus when you get to see family and you get to go hiking and explore the city. That you couldn't ask for a better job. You get to work, play, and it's just the best, you know?
Yeah, it's nice. You'd love to have your family there with you. I
Right.
mean, there's time you have your wife or your husband there with you, and you get to go experience things together. That would be awesome, but it doesn't always work out that way. Matter of fact, very rarely does it work
Right.
out that way.
Yeah.
So
I understand. Totally understand. So you are also a craftsman, which
I
I
am.
find so fascinating. What are some of the favorite pieces that you've made?
I, I make everything from tables and chairs
Hmm.
to cabinets to bowls and pens and trivets, and really everything's custom. So lamps, and my shop is my garage,
Hmm.
which is actually where I am now. This is where I film all my
Okay.
auditions as well. So we
Uh-huh.
have I've kind of sectioned off a little corner, and this is where I do my filming. But it's also where I do my creating. So I do my woodwork as well. I just got done doing some address and unit numbers for a condo unit complex
Okay.
just up the street from here.
Uh-huh.
And that was 73 signs that I got to create and install. And it took about a month to, from start to finish. But what was really neat with that was as I'm installing them and now I'm going back through the complex and doing some other things, I'm like, yeah, that does look pretty good. I like that. It's like, my stuff is still standing. All right, it hasn't fallen off yet. I'm doing pretty good.
This look good. My work is good. I like it.
Yeah. But I love just the play. I mean, it could be a simple pen that I make
Mhm.
for somebody, and it may be their school colors, or one person loved boba tea. And I
Mhm.
was like, "You love boba tea?" Oh man, I just love it so much. I was like, "What's your favorite flavor?" And
Uh-huh.
he goes, "Oh, mocha kind of flavor." I was like, "Wow, okay." So I found a way to make these little boba type balls out of resin and cast them, and it
Uh-huh.
looks like a boba thing. And then it turned into a Dalmatian pen, and then it was
What?
so whatever it turns out to be. It's like, and then I have the CNC machine that you know do custom signs and everything. So it balances me out when I need that alone time and just
Mhm.
create. Don't have to worry about anybody else. Then I come in and just play. But I love the one tool I love more than anything else is the lathe, and just being able to turn bowls and Christmas ornaments, and just seeing how things transform, because a lot of times you don't know what it's going to turn out to be.
Uh-huh. So you mentioned a CNC machine. Can you break that down what that is?
CNC, it's a computer controlled router, is basically how you can say.
Okay.
So all the design is done on here on the computer,
Mhm.
and you decide, okay, I'm going to use this little bit, and we're going to cut this deep in this pattern. You do it, and then you go put it on the machine. You set it, then you hit go, and it cuts it out. And yeah, so it's not as satisfying to me. It's great for repeat work,
Uh-huh.
but I get more satisfaction getting sawdust all over me than anything else.
Does that negate the saying, what is it? What is the saying? Measure twice, cut once? Is that the saying?
No, sure does not. How I know.
It doesn't.
Does not negate it. Oh man, there's always something. You get better, you get better, you get better. But yeah, it's like measure twice, cut once, and go get another piece.
Right.
It's like, yeah, all right. So
Okay. All right. There you go for computers. They're not
happens.
100% perfect.
No, no. Usually user error, but yeah.
Okay. So, in saying that, what was one of the most challenging pieces that you've ever made?
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
challenging piece I've ever made. Um, have to be a lamp.
A lamp.
A
Okay.
lamp, not on the CNC, but it was a lamp because uh, old uncle, old uncle made this lamp, and
Mhm.
I saw it, and I was like, I'm gonna try to make one like it. And I've never made a lamp before, but it's kind of a four-sided, tapered lamp with inlay, and I wanted the inlay to match the top and the bottom, and then to get the electrical to work. And it's like, okay, so that to me that was the most challenging, because the lamps in general, because then I wanted to do a steam bent lamp. So I was learning how to bend wood. And it's like, okay, so I bent wood and made a nice little kind of a just two curved pieces interlocking together. Then how do I get that cord through there through the bottom? And so I love the challenge of that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Um, but in that creating, but yeah, that's so the lamps I would have to say.
I love that. I think I saw that lamp on your website, the one where you're talking about the
Yeah.
curvature. I think I
So yeah,
saw.
that wood was steamed and then bent in a form, and then it was cut and figure it out.
You know, I- making the lamp alone is enough, but now you've got to add the electrical part. That's above my pay grade. Anyway, moving on.
Whole other department for that one. Yeah.
I need grips and electrical for that.
There we go.
So you're also a substitute teacher. How do you fit all this in?
It's a great balance. So the subbing,
Mm-hmm.
I don't, most of the time, I don't know if I'm working that day or not. So I could get a call at as early as 5:30 in the morning.
Oh wow.
And it's an automated call
Uh-huh.
that, teachers just book out, and then all of a sudden, let's see who's available. Get the
Uh-huh.
call, and I can accept it or deny it. Usually they come in about 6:30. Um, and then I can, like I said, I can accept it or turn it down. 99 times out of 100, I'll accept it, and there's
Mm-hmm.
my day.
Right.
If I don't work that day, then I'm in the shop,
Mm-hmm.
and if I'm not in the shop, then I'm doing family balancing. But it's what I love about it because I teach elementary school, so it's
Okay.
not just one grade, one subject.
Uh-huh.
It's everything from pre-kindergarten to fifth grade,
Oh my gosh.
and you get the kids that need help with going to the bathroom, and
Mm-hmm.
you're hoping please get them through
Yeah.
to the fifth graders that are special. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're just so adorable.
They're in
But,
that age group of talking back and figuring out what they can get away with.
and what to call you? Yes,
Oh, yes.
yes.
Oh my
But it was but everything in between. I mean, my very first day subbing, I walked into a very high autistic class, and one of the kids decided that shirt and shoes were optional. And I was like, okay. And one of the TAs walked over and said, Mr. Jim, we've got this. I was like, fantastic.
God.
Thank you very much. I'm going, what did I just sign up for? I've never taught before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay. They didn't train you on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And co fast forward 2 weeks later, I'm back at the same school, and I'm walking through the lunch area, and this third grade class, all of a sudden I'm walking through and I hear this, Mr. Jim. And I look around, I'm like, what? This whole table got up. They ran over. They gave me a big group hug
Oh
and
my
chanted
God.
my name as they walked back to their table. I was like, okay, this is going to be a good ride. So, but what I love is I can go do that. I'm done by 2:30. I don't have papers to grade. I don't have parents to deal with. I don't have school. I just come home. If it's been a rough day, I'll come into my shop, just get
Mm-hmm.
my solitude that I can just turn something or bake something or just chill out in the garage by myself. And then when the acting comes up, it's like, okay, I get to create again that way. So it's they right now it's working out and they all balance out, but yeah.
I just love it. So, circling back to the acting, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to up and coming actors if you can think of anything?
Um, the first thing I would say is that for piece of advice that I had, ask for advice, not favors.
Right.
Um, it's not all about you. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
seems like you got all this pressure on, but there are so many things outside of your uh, your control that the decision makers are making. I mean, I remember I walked his set and the director came up to me and goes, Jim, it's great to see you. I just
Oh,
got to tell you, man, you remind me of my best friend.
oh,
I'm like, that's why I got the job.
yes.
And I remember sitting in on a casting session and hearing the director consistently say, you know what? That's a guy I could hang out with on set for 12 hours.
I love
It's like,
it.
be that guy that people want to be around.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what I mean. But again, I asked a guy, it's like, it was between me and another guy. He was the first AD. I was like, why didn't I get it? He goes, yeah, you reminded the director of her ex-husband. There you go.
There you go. He
So,
said that.
so many things you don't have control over, but you
Right.
just do the best you can and then let it go. The old rotisserie chicken, set it, forget it, and go on with your life. So
Okay. That's a new one. I've never heard that before. Okay. The old
the old
rotisserie.
rotisserie infomercial?
No.
No? God, I'm dating myself big time now.
Okay. Okay. All right. Jim, you have been such a pleasure. How do people get in touch with you?
I have my website for woodcrafting is garritycreative.com. And you can always get a message through there. Instagram, it's also Garrity Creative. I'm on Facebook, Jim Garrity. And yeah, just reach out. I always reach back. So yeah, any of those would be great.
Okay. All right. Great.
Thank you for watching. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure to follow Angela Merle and On the Edge with Angela Merle on IG for quick clips of every episode.